Today, we're going to look at a brand new feature Notion just released, the recurring task. This is a long-awaited feature from pretty much everyone in the community, including myself. So what I'm going to do here is just show you a stripped back, functional way to use this new feature and just see how it works out of the box. And then what I'm going to do is share some of my thoughts, some of the things that I think it could improve on, some of the things I really enjoy about it, and then we're going to look at my personal setup and how I'm using the new feature. So let's just get right into it. Let's take a look at how this recurring feature works, and we're just going to get right into it with pretty much a blank slate. But you can follow along. There is a page in the description to duplicate into your workspace called Follow Along. So with this new recurring task feature, let's just take a look at my calendar. And if you are already familiar with Notion, of course, you don't have to be to follow this tutorial, but really quickly, where you usually find your templates next to the new button, you can turn your template page into a recurring page. So if I go to edit, you'll see that first of all, there's that blue icon, and in repeat, I can change it to repeat daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly, and there's other options for configuration for each. Every day or every week, it will auto-populate in that day. It will not pre-fill into the future though. If you're doing something every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you want to see that pre-filled into the week ahead, that won't be what this is. This is just going to populate your calendar day of, and we'll get into that. So I just wanted to get that out of the way first for those who are familiar with the program and just wanted a quick rundown of how it works. So let's go back to the video example page. And let's zoom in and start with just a brand new database. So inside of this page, I'm going / to bring up the block menu, and I'm searching for calendar view. This is just a database, but it's giving me a calendar view to start with. So if I click on it, it gives me a menu. It's asking me whether I want to link to an existing database or create a new one. I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to name it My Calendar. Great. So let's quickly add another database view up here via this plus button. And I want to keep it a table, maybe just call it table view. I want to just go down here and press done. Go to my properties. I'm going to go ahead and delete that tags property. So by just clicking on tags inside of properties, I can go down to delete property. Another way to delete properties in a table is by clicking on the title in the table, and there's also an option to delete the property. What I also want to create is a created time property. So I'm going to click this plus button here, and I'm going to go down to created time. This creates a timestamp, so whenever this new page is populated, it will give me a time or date and time that it populated in the database. This is important with this recurring task feature because you're not able to populate date fields. The only way you'll be able to see the date that it has populated is with the created time property. Keep it as is, and I can create a new page here. And let's just call this My Tasks for Today. And I can open this up in the side peek. And what I can do maybe in the body of the page is type out all my tasks for the day in, to-do boxes. Or I can create a template so that I don't have to create these to-do boxes. That can just happen automatically. So let's exit this page and go back to the database. I'm going to go to this new button here and press this down arrow. So I'm going to add a new template called New Tasks for Today. Now, one thing I can do, you see this comment section at the top of the page. If you are a single user and you're not using this with a team, it's not super necessary. So I do recommend going to the top right-hand corner to the page menu, going to customize page, going to top level page discussions, and just turning that off. It's more of an aesthetic choice for me because I absolutely never use that feature. In the body of this page, maybe we can create a heading for to do. I can go / gray background to give it a gray background. Press enter, maybe give this a dividing line. And I can either go to the block menu to create a to-do checkbox, or I can just do open brackets, close brackets on my keyboard and space. I'm just going to do a little dash and enter down a few times. I can also add an icon here. And I can go to Notion's custom icons and maybe give this a check mark. Great, so let's delete this. And instead of pressing a new page here, let's go to the templates, go to that down arrow and click it from here instead. So I'm going to click new tasks for today, and it will generate my checklist in the body of the page and generate that created time with my icon and my title. So that's how templates work. What you'll notice with our new page is that in the calendar view here, it doesn't populate on the 12th of November, even though that's the created time. That's because our date property is what we're seeing in that calendar. So if I click through and select 12th of November manually and go back to calendar, it will show up. So this is important to know with this recurring date feature as of right now. Now I could also change my calendar view. If I go to the database menu and I go to layout and show calendar by and then change to created time, if I click away, I still get that task on that day, but it is only showing my created time. I'm going to go back to layout and show date. Going back to table view, let's make this new tasks for today page recur every day. So to do that, I'm going to go to the template, go to edit this template here, and repeat. Let's go from off to every day. So it will repeat daily, and it will repeat every 1 day. So let's say you want it to repeat every other day. You would change this to 2. Now this is the date it starts on, which I'm going to have for today. And create at 12 a.m. Now I do this for all of my recurring templates. I make sure that it is at 12 a.m. so while I'm sleeping, it auto-populates in my database. But for the sake of example, I am filming this right now at 6:16 p.m. So I'm going to quickly change this to 6:17 p.m. and see it auto-populate here. And there it is. So I'm going to delete the prior one we had and just work with this one here. This is the one that auto-populated. And you'll notice again, just like when we manually selected this template, the created time is the only thing that's being populated. There's no way to populate a date property like date. So if I go to even edit this property, there is no options here. And that is something that I don't like about this feature. As of right now, I think this is one of those things that they could easily add because just having this created time to work with is a bit annoying. So here's my solution. I'm gonna create a formula, and I don't like that I have to do this, and I have only been using this for a couple weeks, so if there's someone who is more informed than me, let me know in the comments. So pressing this plus button here, let's scroll down to the formula type. And I'm going to name this Show in Calendars. And I can go here to edit my formula, or I can click away and just click through the cell. So what I'm going to do is say, if this date property here, so I'm using an if statement, if this date property is filled out, so I've manually put in a date, so if it's not empty essentially, inside of the empty parentheses here, I'm just going to click date. If that's the case, then I just want to show that date. So I want to override with the date, and I'm clicking that date again. Now, if this is not the case, which is that the date property is empty like we see here, I just want to see that created time. And I'm going to close out that if statement at the end. So in this case, show in calendar will just show my created time. If I were to push this, like maybe I don't want this to be for the 12th, I want it to be for tomorrow, I can just click the 13th in date and the 13th is what will show in the calendar. So let's go back to calendar view and make sure that's exactly what we're seeing. So again, going to the database menu, I can go to layout, show calendar by. This time I can show formulas as long as they're in the style of a date. So I'm just going to select that, and there we see our new tasks for today is in the 13th. And now if I want to add a new task, like buy tickets to Mexico, I can, and I can give this a date of the 16th. And that will show up in my calendar as well. So we have a recurring task that's going to show up in my calendar and all of the other tasks that I'm adding to this calendar as well. Here's the drawback. That isn't terribly annoying to me, but can be. You cannot add entries within the calendar itself. You have to go to the new button and create your new task here. So buy tickets to San Francisco. Maybe give this an icon. And what I want to do here in the page, there's too much I'm seeing. What I'm going to do is just hide created time. Always hide. For the date, I want this to be the 19th of November, and you'll see that that is exactly where it populates. So one thing I can do with this calendar, if I go back to that page, is create another property called done, and this will just be a done checkbox. So add property, go to checkbox. I'm going to call this done. So what I can do is show this done checkbox through my calendar. So I can quickly click it through this view, and I don't have to manually go through each page. Again, we're going to that database menu. We're going to properties, and we're making sure we're seeing done. So done, click this eyeball, and it will show through the calendar. This is nice because with my recurring tasks, as they populate in my calendar and I wake up in the morning and I see all of them for my day, I can just go through and click done through this calendar view. So it does take away a step. You don't have to create that new page every day, but again, it's only populating in that day that you've set it for. So going back to this template and repeat, it starts Friday, November 11th, create at 6:17 p.m. or you put it at what I recommend is 12 a.m. while you're sleeping. That's pretty much how it works. Hopefully I kind of went through everything there. Every single day I'm going to get a page called new tasks for today. Now searching for these pages is going to be a little bit of a nightmare. I can search if I go Command P. This is the page switcher for the entirety of your workspace. I can search by date, so it's not like it's impossible to search for repeated pages with repeated titles. But a way to get around that for me and a way to make these titles a little bit more unique is with the inline date. So let's change this title to at, and I'm just using the at symbol like that, at today. There is an option here for date when duplicated, or literally today, the day I'm filming. So date when duplicated is what you want. I'm going to say today's tasks. And this is our final simple template. So I'm just going to click this to show you what it looks like. We have today's tasks in a relative date format. Now we can change this date format, which means like within the week you're in. So for me, we have Monday's formulas, which is the day I'm filming is the 12th. So this past Monday, that will be the title. And then as you go back further than a week, it will be in a regular date format. Like November 4th here is literally November 4th, 2022. And I could change the date format to like month, day, year, but this will actually not be available in the template to change the format. Another thing I wish Notion had the ability to do. But yeah, that's my little workaround for the repetitive titles. So let's take a look at like how to do something like this. How to nest another database inside a fairly vague page, like October 30th's formulas. So let's replicate this. Inside of the video example, I have a task list down here, and this is just 4 different tasks. They're pretty simple. We just have a done checkbox and an assign property. And what we're going to do here is just connect our task list database to the calendar we just created. So I'm going to add a property, go down to relation, and I'm going to connect this to my calendar. I could also rename this to day or even task list. And then I can show on my calendar, so essentially creating a backlink called all tasks. I'd even rename task list to to task list or to calendar maybe. So it makes more sense. Okay, so let's add this relation. And now what I can do is go back to the calendar, go back to our template up here, just edit template, edit. And inside of the body of the page, instead of having this to-do list, we're gonna make a connection straight from that task list for all the tasks that I may want to accomplish for this day. So we have this backlink here, and what I'm gonna do is actually hide this property, always hide. And in the body of the page, I'm going to go / linked data. This will give me a linked view of a database. So when I select that, it's prompting me to select a source. What do I want to link to? I want to link to the task list. And now it is asking me to copy an existing view. I'm going to press the view at the very top, and I'll keep the title and everything. So everything looks great. It's sorted by done ascending, so everything that's not done is at the top. And what I want to do is make sure I filter this linked database to the title of my template, because remember, we're still editing inside of a template. So if I go to filter and I go to calendar, that's the relation to this calendar, and I'm gonna make sure that to calendar contains the name of my template, which will always be the first selection. Great, everything should disappear, and we're done. I'm just gonna click away, and I'm gonna click on the 12th here, and delete what we had before. And now in the body of the page, I have an option to select this template for a new page, or if I just completely remove that page, I can again go to my templates and just click it from here. And now every day at 12 a.m., it's not only going to populate this page, but is also going to automatically link me to my task list database where I can start creating tasks for the day. So let's open this up as a full page. And inside of tasks, if there's tasks that already exist that I want to add to it, I'm going to go to all tasks, press that cell, and go and search. Let's say on this day, I want to purchase a birthday gift. Hide these properties, and you'll see that in the body of the page, it has populated, and now I can go and check it on and off. I can also add new tasks. So I can press this new button, and I can say, create a workflow for client. Give it an icon. And if I happen to be in this page, let me just open this up as a full page, I can then navigate back to my calendar. So I can navigate back to my full list of tasks I need to do that include this task, again in the side view, and I can see the other tasks I need to do after this one. I can also open in full page again, and here is my growing list of tasks. Now for me, every morning when I see this new page populate, I go ahead and start adding new tasks I need to do, or for me, adding new formulas and new breakdown videos I need to create for my website. I hope you guys are enjoying this new feature. This one kind of caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting this so soon. I am happy overall with this new feature. Of course, there are some things I went over that I hope they will improve on eventually, and I'm sure they will. Anyway, I will see you guys the rest of the week on Twitter and next time with a new video. Let me know down in the comments below how you guys are feeling about the new feature and if it is something you see yourself using inside of your own workspace. I'll see you later.